The Forgotten Ones. Part 2 is here. The secrets go deeper, the whispers grow louder, and not everyone makes it out. If you missed the beginning of this haunting tale, Part 1 is linked below. Don't say I didn't warn you. But that night, Elowen dreamt of her. She dreamt of 1,000 dolls buried in the soil, their tiny hands clawing upward. She dreamt of black thread sewing her own mouth shut. When she awoke, her bedroom window was open, though she knew she had locked it. And there, on her nightstand, was a small doll stitched in rough black thread, its face crudely resembling her own. The villagers said nothing when she asked about it. They only shook their heads and muttered, "It's too late now." The next night, Elowen heard scratching at her door. Not knocking, not banging, scratching, like little nails trying to dig through the wood. She pressed herself against the door, heart hammering, listening. A child's voice whispered through the crack, "You saw me. You waved." Elowen barely slept after that. Everywhere she went, she caught glimpses, reflections in windows, faces between trees, a figure standing just beyond the reach of the street lamps at night. She was unraveling, just like Marnie had. One night, desperate and shaking, Elowen packed her things and tried to leave. But the roads twisted, folding back into themselves. No matter how fast she drove, how far she ran, she always ended back where she started, at the edge of the woods, where the mist was waiting, where the girl was waiting. Elowen's last journal entry was found weeks later, half buried in the dirt. "I see them now. I hear them singing under the ground. She is not alone. She never was." Nobody saw Elowen after that. Just a new doll added to the circle outside the woods. Just another empty space where someone used to be. And somewhere, deep in the mist, two girls now stand side by side, barefoot, hollow-eyed, sewing more names into their tattered, endless tapestry of the forgotten. You might still hear them on cold nights, singing lullabies in broken voices, waiting for the next soul foolish enough to wave back. The village changed after Elowen vanished. At first, it was small things. The bells in the chapel, silent, though no one remembered when they stopped ringing. The bakery, open every morning, yet no one could recall the baker's name anymore. Children played in the streets, but sometimes there were too many footsteps for the number of children there. And the mist, thicker now, even at noon, coiling through streets like a living thing, seeping into gardens, kitchens, bedrooms. The villagers whispered of curses, but they did not speak loudly. Speaking too loudly might invite attention. Those who remembered Marnie or Elowen found their memories fragmenting, faces blurred, voices distorted. Some woke up with dirt under their fingernails and didn't know why. Others found black thread tucked into their pockets, or buttons sewn crudely onto their clothing where none had been before. A few tried to leave, none returned. One by one, the villagers themselves began to fade. At first, only at the edges. A neighbor you could almost remember, but not quite. A friend you knew you should know, but whose name stayed trapped behind your teeth. Then whole families disappeared overnight, their homes left rotting, overgrown, as if no one had ever lived there at all. And each morning, the circle outside the woods grew larger. More dolls, more faces stitched in crude likenesses, the mist guarding them like a jealous parent. Those who remained learned not to speak names aloud anymore. Not of the missing, not even of themselves. You could last a little longer that way. At night, you could sometimes hear the chanting, soft and rhythmic, rising from the forest. Children's voices, hundreds of them, stitched together into a single broken hymn. If you dared to look, you might see them. Small shapes gathering at the village edge, hand in hand, heads bent in unnatural angles, waiting. Marnie led them now, Elowen beside her, and dozens more, faces blurred, hollow where eyes should be. They were building something. Not a home, not a shrine, a memory, a stitched-together patchwork of souls, stronger than any one person's will. Soon, they wouldn't need the mist. Soon, they wouldn't need the dolls. They would be the town. They would be the only memory left. And when the last bell fell silent, Henford-on-Bagley would not just be forgotten. It would never have existed at all. They say curiosity is a curse. Miles Davenport wasn't supposed to be there. He was a traveler, a wanderer, always looking for the forgotten corners of the world to photograph. When he heard whispers about a village not found on any map, he packed his bag and set off, certain it was nothing more than local superstition. He should have listened. The road to Henford-on-Bagley was not marked. It didn't appear on GPS. The path twisted through dense fog, the trees leaning over the road as if to block out the sky. And yet somehow he found it. The village was still, as if frozen in time. Shuttered windows, empty streets, shadows behind curtains that didn't move when he knocked. He raised his camera to take a photo, but the lens only showed static. Nothing would focus. The village blurred, smeared like paint dragged across wet canvas. It was wrong. Everything was wrong. The buildings stood, but they were hollow, like props on a stage. The flowers in the window boxes were fake. The bread in the market was stone. And the people, Miles saw them at the edges of his vision. Their bodies moved like marionettes, jerked by unseen strings, smiling too wide, blinking too slowly. When he approached, they simply turned away and faded, as if the act of noticing them erased them. He should have left, he tried. The road behind him, gone. The sky, heavy and colorless. No sun, no stars, only mist, and the sound of children's laughter growing louder. He stumbled through the village, desperate to find a way out, when he saw her, a girl standing at the well in the center of the village green. She wore a tattered dress stitched from dozens of different fabrics, none matching. Her face was blurred, shifting every time he blinked, sometimes young, sometimes ancient. Don't miss what happens next. Part 3 is where it really gets wild. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a second of the madness. You'll want to be here when the truth finally comes out.